we are going to deal with the last 3 questions on the test, and that is solving these equations by using the quadratic formula. And so, of course, we need to make sure that we have the quadratic formula memorized. But here's how this would go then. You have the quadratic formula here, and so we're going to try to find out what values of x make this equation true by using this quadratic formula. I'm going to suggest strongly that if you're having a difficult time with any of this, that you put parentheses in place of the letters that you're substituting for. And then this could eliminate some of the issues that you might have. So the other thing is, if you want to deal with 11 or number 12 and you got 10 right, then feel free, of course, to fast forward to those particular numbers. So we're going to go negative, and then instead of a b, we're going to write parentheses. And the b is the negative 2. So we're going to put that inside the parentheses. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. We're going to put a parenthesis in place of b. And inside those parentheses, we put the negative 2 again. And then in place of an a, put parentheses. And in place of the c, put parentheses. The a is going to be a 1. And the c is a negative 15. And it's all over 2a. And a, again, is 1. Okay, then we take this and we go subtracting a negative 2 means a positive 2. And then in the parentheses, we're going to have negative 2 squared gives us a positive 4. And then we're subtracting a negative. So since there's 2 negatives here, that's going to make a positive. So so this is going to be plus. And 4 times 1 times 15 is 60. And that's going to be all over 2. Okay, as we move on, then x equals 2 plus or minus, and then this is going to be the square root of 64. And we know that the square root of 64 is 8. So therefore it's going to be plus or minus 8 all over 2. Everything is accounted for in each of these problems. Make sure everything is accounted for. So you have 2 possibilities. X is either going to equal 2 plus 8 over 2, or it's going to equal 2 minus 8 over 2. Those are your possibilities. And so 2 plus 8 is 10 over 2, which is 5. And then the next one, 2 minus 8, which is negative 6, over 2 is going to be negative 3. So then, if you were to check these to make sure they're correct, the 5, if you put 5 into here, you're going to get 25 minus 2 times 5, which is 10, minus 15. So, does that equal 0? So 25 minus 10 is 15, and 15 minus 15 is 0. So that checks. The next one that we can check, this is going to be negative 3. So I'll put it in here just so that we see this again. It's negative 3 squared minus 2 times negative 3 minus 15. Does it equal 0? And so that's a positive 9. Negative times negative is positive. And so we see that 9 plus 6 is 15, minus 15 is 0, so that does work out. Okay, let's try number 11. Number 11 is x equals negative, and put parentheses where the b is, and it's a positive 6, that is the b, plus or minus, and then the b squared, so parentheses where that is, and then squared, minus 4ac. and we have 1 and then 9. Now this one, putting the parentheses is not quite as important because the A's, the B's, and C's are all positive. So it may not be quite as necessary, but when you have negative numbers, it does help. And then, so that's 2 times 1. So x equals -6 plus or minus. And so underneath here you've got 6 squared is 36 minus, and then 4 times 1 times 9 is 36. And all over 2. So x equals -6 plus or minus. And this 36 minus 36 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. So actually, we're done with that. And then all over 2. So we really only have one solution, and that's going to be -3. And if we then were to check this out, we'd have x squared, which is -3, plus 6 times x, which is -3, plus 9. Does it equal 0? And so -3 squared is 9, and then 6 times -3 is -18, plus 9. Does it equal 0? And 9 minus 18 is -9, plus 9 is 0, so -3 does check out. There is no other value of x that makes this a true statement. Now we look at number 12. And we want to get this into standard form first. And so in order to do that, we have to add 3 to both sides. So 2x squared minus 7x and plus 3. Adding 3, of course, to this makes it 0, which is the point. And then we can use the quadratic formula. So x equals, and just in case you haven't heard the other ones, we want to put parentheses where there's letters, especially when you're dealing with negative numbers. And so this is -7 that goes inside for b, plus or minus b squared. So we put parentheses and then squared, and inside the parentheses is a -7. Minus 4 times a times c. A is the 2, and c is the 3. It's all over 2 times the a, which is 2. So, as we move on, subtracting a -7 makes it a +7. Inside the parentheses, we are taking -7 squared, which gives you a +49. And then we're going to subtract whatever the product is here. So this is 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And all that's over 2 times 2, which is 4. So x equals 7 plus or minus 49 minus 24 is 25. All over 4. So x equals 7 plus or minus 5. Square root of 25 is 5. All over 4. So x equals 2 possibilities. It's either 7 plus 5 over 4, or it's 7 minus 5 all over 4. And so 12 over 4 is 3, or 2 over 4, which is 1/2. So if you then were to substitute the 3 in for the x, you would make this statement true. If you took the half, put that in for x, it would also make this statement true. So that's number 12.